Hello and welcome to this ad for a t-shirt. Two t-shirts. Sure, it says pre-order, but they're up for regular order now. So head on over to fastcustomshirts.com and along with those shirts, hundreds and hundreds more shirts. If you're listening to this garbage, you'll love the fine, fine shirts over at fastcustomshirts.com. Custom work too if you need some shirts made. Speaking of garbage, head on over. I was going to say fucking the same shit. Merp, merp. Head on over to dwnproductions.net. Masks, bus, props, custom work, fine, fine stuff for fine, fine people. Think. If you want something made, hit me up, and maybe, just maybe, I'll do it for you.
Uh, Tom, I finally jumped back into the box set that goes inside the mind of Coffin Joe and watched this. I had to take the slip out because, to show you the reversible art because it had this other one that I'm going to watch next week. When the gods fall asleep. Ooh, this artwork's not very good. Um, so that other movie that I about last time, not last time, but the last time I talked about one of these movies, it was this, The End of Man, one with the that the translation just stops in the middle of the movie. And that was the one guy that appears naked and he's just walking through the streets and blah blah blah, and he's exposing this or that, and he's like a Jesus type guy, right? And at the end he walks back to the asylum that he came from, and that's the whole twist. He was a crazy man, showing that we're even crazier as a society than this crazy man. Okay, well, in this one, he's in the asylum. It's a direct sequel, just a couple of days later, and he hears the news. The news is saying, "Oh, shit's gotten bad," blah blah blah. So he breaks out of the asylum again. How? They don't show it. That's not necessary. And then we switch to guy is fucking a chick in a barrel. You know, like the ends of the barrels are off to where their legs and heads are sticking out from both ends, and he's fucking her in the barrel.
Oh, hey, can you help me? I got stuck cleaning out this barrel.
But yeah, that's what he does. And then he goes back. He tells, "Hey, go ahead and tell your man that I did this. I fucked you in a barrel." And she's like, "You bastard!" And so it turns out this guy's like a leader of a gang in these Brazilian slums. And that was the other gang's woman.
AKA Brazil.
Yeah. And I guess in Brazil, that's the worst thing you can do to a woman is fuck her in a barrel. So it's even more degrading to the gang leader whose woman was fucked in a barrel. So, they're going to get together and they're fighting. They're like, blah, blah, blah. It's a bunch of shitty looking fighting. And then there's a kid sitting there watching. And all of a sudden, the kid disappears. Somebody took the kid. And like the fighting stops, and let's go find this kid together. And they do, and there's a not Coffin Joe. His name. This is what the fuck?
Basket Mike.
Finis Hominis, End of Man, the other movie. That's his name in this, and in that one too. But anyway, the kid's there laughing, playing a little fucking, I don't know what he's playing, an accordion or some shit, the recorder, whatever the fuck kids play. And he's just happy, and the gangs are like, "Oh, we came together for this. We should, be, united all the time." And, Finis Hominis, his work is done. He walks off. The gangs are good. Then we see like a satanic ritual, some witchcraft, and this goes on for a long time. They're just dancing. Drums are playing, and then a disclaimer comes out, and it says, stop now if you're very sensitive. You may want to leave the theater and blah blah blah. This is based on real life. And they all start carrying chickens, and one dude starts biting the chicken, and he's eating the chicken live. And I don't know if this was real or not. It was a Brazilian movie. It probably was. And yeah, that's whatever. And then they're going to sacrifice a lady, and then they're in the graveyard and all these people gather around. They're going to like just fucking cut her head off or some shit. And there's old Finis Hominis that says, stop. And they're like, oh, you're the Masonic figure. Yes. What do you say we do? Satan requires a different sacrifice. Oh, what does he require? And he points out the three leaders of it, and they're like, oh, no, no, there is no Satan. We just, blah, blah, blah. We were lying. So the people turn on them. So he's exposed the Satanists as charlatans the way he did the Christians in the other movie. Then we see some gypsies out in I don't know, their little encampment, with their little wagons and stuff. And they're all partying too, because there's about to be a wedding. This tribe leader says, hey, you're going to marry this guy. And she don't want to marry him. She's fucking this other dude. And this guy's fucking this other dude. It's all, everybody's fucking. And then, it all comes out and they all start knife fighting and everything. And here comes old Finis Hominess and says, hey, people should marry who they want to. Hey, everybody cheers, and then we cut to the asylum, and the asylum's like, hey, we were getting a unknown sponsor, that's keeping this asylum alive for food and stuff, but those checks have stopped coming. It's like we might have to close down this asylum. All right, back to old fucking Brazil, and there's this I thought it was a club, people were there hanging out. And I guess it is a club, there's couples there. And what they're doing is waiting for a room to open so they can go fuck in it. It's not quite a hotel, but it's just like, hey, you're waiting for a fuck room, to open up. Once somebody's done, everybody rushes and fights are breaking out, chicks are fighting. And here comes old Finis Hominis, And I don't know what the problem was here. People, like, nobody was being forced against their will or anything. They were all there, to do some fucking. But he does his little hoodoo, and the women drive out all the men. I don't know. He fucking goes back to the asylum, and they're like, oh, get him back to his room, before we have to close up anyway and set him on the street. And old Felix Homeless turns to the doctor and says, oh, sorry, this is late, and hands him the check, Tom. He's been the anonymous donor all along. Oh, the end.
Sounds pretty cool.
It sucks.
No, it sounded pretty good.
But you don't have to watch it because you've heard it here. All right. And this movie's only 82 minutes, I guess. And I think it's shorter than that. But god damn, all those scenes of the dancing and the singing or whatever and the shitty fighting, they go on. And I'm like, fuck. Constantly checking the run times. Like, how much is time's elapsed? God damn, not enough. It's grueling, man. It's not a good movie. Not a good movie at all. Yeah, if he's not playing Coffin Joe, I really have not given a shit about this guy at all. I glanced at the titles, the special features, and didn't want to watch any of them. Again, it's more movie people, discussing parallels to this shit or that shit that I don't care. I don't care about any of that, especially this movie. This is just dumb hippie bullshit. Yeah, I get it. We're all fucking in the asylum. I get it. The inmates are running the asylum, as they say.